Hey everyone, how's it going? Stop this looper real quick. How's everybody's morning going, or afternoon, depending on where you're at? We're gonna live stream some pedals. I got these. I have a gear list below that has all the pedals that I have on hand right now, today, and a list of the basses that I have. I'm starting off on the Warwick Streamer, just because it's my main bass. It's what I'm most comfortable with. Hey everybody. Looks like who guessed the Keeley Echoes is right. So the Walrus Audio Slow is doing that Dream pad setting that's still going, and I had the hold function going on, and then my looper into the Echoes doing the other noise. So let's break that down real quick while we wait for more people to join. So I'll let you hear this. Let's turn this off, and we'll turn this off, I believe. And I'll start the loop by itself. You can hear just a dry bass swell in and out. Turn on the overdrive a little bit. Turn on this guy for some delay. And then when it hits the right note, I will hold it on this guy. And that's it. And then I just let it play while I read chat. Hey Joel, how's it going? Hey Lewis. Anyways, that's enough of that. So what sort of things do you guys want to see? I got a few things with the Echoes that I wanted to show, along with the shift line buzz. The skinny red cable, it's not an XLR. It's actually, let's see, are you talking about this one? This one on the right is a 1/4 inch. This is just from, I believe this was some brand from Amazon. Super cheap cable. This one, if you're talking about this one, this is still a 1/4 inch from Covenant cables. These are super thin. If you're talking about this red one right here, this red one that's coming out of the Olympic on the side, that's a 12 volt power cable. It's just the power cable for your pedal, but I have it red so I know that it's 12 volts, so I don't forget and accidentally blow up a pedal. I see, yeah, that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, it's just a 12 volt. Let's see if I can show it, if the power supply will reach, but I have the Zuma powering all my power supplies, and then I have a doubler, a current, I think it's a current doubler? No, it's not current. I forget the word for it. But anyways, it puts two 500 milliamp slots together to power the Olympic, which is 650 milliamps, so it needs 1,000, or it needs 650, and I'm feeding it 1,000. With the doubler cable. So, but anyways, I have it red, so it's 12 volt, so I don't forget, because I will forget. I normally use this on my pedal board. If you watch my pedal board video, it's on the my Boss OC2, because that's really the only pedal besides this one that does 12 volts. And this one, normally I have the adapter, but today I wanted to keep it all on the power supply. No, it's all good. I actually need you guys to kind of carry this a little bit, because other than playing and a little bit of talking, I don't have much planned. So you guys give me some suggestions for pedals you want me to hook up, or what do you want me to play. So I'll just go ahead and play some stuff, and you guys can fill up the chat, and I'll read it in a second. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna mute the microphone for a second so you guys don't get the click. Yeah, the buzz does sound really good. It's pretty much my go-to overdrive, that and the B3K from Dark Glass. Hold on, let me adjust this real quick. I can't reach. Yeah, I really like this over a standard blend like on a Keeley. On most of these other pedals, you'll get a blend that's, you know, dry on one side, wet on the other. This one has two separate controls for dry and the dirt, so I can actually volume match the clean tone and then just add the dirt where I want it on top of it, which is kind of normally where I like my tone the best. Source audio spectrum, yeah, we can hook that up. It's actually right here. So yeah, let me mute the thing and let's see, anything else you guys want to see hooked up before I mute this and change it over? All right, so we will hook this up. I got that channel muted. Let's put this after the dirt, but before the Keeley. So I'm using the 3 Monkeys solderless cables, these purple things. I had to get the purple just because I saw them and I thought they looked beautiful. But they sent me a sample pack. They were doing a promotion where they're sending a few people sample packs to test them out, and I had been using the lava cables, and it took me, I think, a year or so with the lava cables, and they all eventually died on me. I had a large pedal board, probably 9 or 10 pedals, I believe, plus a volume pedal, tuner, all that stuff. And they all died on me one after the other. So these kind of came in. Let me make sure these are on camera all good. This is not pretty, is it? Anyways, they sent these, and I made them. The lava cables took a couple of minutes a piece to make because you have to cut them in a specific spot and measure them out, and very fine cutting, and it has to be straight and it has to be a certain length, and the wrapping and all this stuff. These, I literally just cut it with just my regular pair of scissor shears, and you put the cap on and twist it, and that was it. It was done. And they all worked. Like, I think I had one cable that didn't work first try with my cable tester. But other than that, I mean, I recut it and redid it, and it was fine. Other than that, none of these have failed yet. I think one got loose because it started to become untwisted. But that was one. And I've had these, I want to say I started these a year and a half ago. So I really like these. And they're really expensive, and I get that. But they're, for me, because I'm switching around pedals so much, like you can see I'm doing this. I tore apart my whole pedal board for this, just for you guys. But because I do that so much, I really don't want a cable that takes an hour to do a couple cables. Like, I really needed something reliable and something quick. So these fit that bill. I seem to remember when I had this on last. Hold on, I have this muted still. Let me unmute this 1 second. I think I remember the last time I had this on, the volume was pretty low. All right, I'm not getting a signal, did I not? Yeah, I didn't plug this in. Hold on, let me mute it. That would help to plug this in. Yep. All right, I should be getting signal now. Yep. Let's turn you off. Or are you on? You off. Sorry, it's hard to see because these lights are facing towards me and all the pedal control labels are away from me, and it's hard to see. So I'm trying to do this off memory. All right, so the buzz is on. This is on. I remember the output being low on this thing. So I'm gonna have to use the control and bring up the volume. All right, let's check chat real quick. Anything else? Yeah, I'll hook up the Rose in a little bit. I have that one in the Strymon Blue Sky, actually sitting right here to my left off camera. Those are going to be ready to go. It's been a while since I've had to adjust this. I usually keep it in a certain setting, and I don't remember where it is. All right, I think I'm still on the control mix. I might be messing with stuff I shouldn't be. Oh yeah, I messed it up. it's not on. Is it on? It is on. All right. Okay, that's clean. That's wet. That's good. Okay, so that's blinking, so I'm in the control mix. I see. All right, I get it. I didn't see that LED blinking. I promise I'll figure this out. Maybe it'll take me a second. No, that's not it. All right, maybe we're not hearing this one today. What did I do? Okay, so I'm on the control mix. I want the volume up. Let me hit my looper. It's gonna sound weird for a second, but it'll give me something to play while I adjust this. I think this is the input, which I want fairly high. Okay, not control input. All right, I think I got it now. Okay. There we go. This is not sounding like it should. Well, sorry about the derail, guys. I'm really curious as to what I did here. I can hear it start to move, but I can't figure out why the... Okay, that's doing the frequency, it sounds like. Alright, we might have to move past this. This is taking up too much time. I know as soon as I get this off camera and look at it, I'll be like, oh, that's what I did. So, sorry about that. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Anything else? I have... The gear list is in the description, you guys, if you guys want to look at the gear list. That's all the pedals and random stuff that I have on hand that I could switch out. Let me try messing with this really, just one more minute. I really didn't plan on spending that much time on this, but this is a really good pedal and I can't figure out what I did. There's these hidden controls and I can't read what they say. Yeah, I don't... It feels like that's doing something, but I think it feels like it's adjusting the frequency. All right, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to something else. All right, I see something big, Muff. Big Muff versus Buzz. I haven't put pedals after the Olympic just because it's more, I'm kind of treating it like my amp. So whatever I run into it drives this because of the gain control and the tube, it'll get driven. I haven't put anything after. Usually this is just the end of the chain thing. I have done it by itself and had, you know, front of house compression and all that stuff after. But other than that, it's usually a before thing, not after. I could try it after and see what it sounds like. Big Muff versus Buzz. I can do that. I have this Big Muff here. This is more of a, come on camera. This is more of a fuzz. and the buzz is more of an overdrive, but I can put the two together. Let's see, let me mute this real quick. We're already muted. We'll take this out. I'm sorry about the spectrum, you guys. I'll figure this out and make an Instagram clip or something. This really is a cool pedal, and it bums me out that I messed something up. I didn't pre-plan a lot of these pedals. They're just sitting here. So however I left them last, it might have been in some weird mode. So I have the Buzz version 1 and version 2. Did you want to hear both of those? Or just the version 2? And then I have the Duality Fuzz. If we're just going to do a drive thing, we can just do the drives for right now. That sounds good to me, actually. So I'll go ahead and hook these up. Yeah, I prefer the version 2 just because, like I said, it has the 2 separate clean and drive controls, and it has a little bit more EQ control as well. But yeah, they make these are good looking pedals. Velcro on the back, nothing to look at. Velcro. Let's see. So we'll go... Oh, I got so many cables and stuff going on. We'll go you next. Into the Duality Fuzz. This is my favorite fuzz pedal by far. This was the first pedal that Dark Glass had sent me years ago, and it was just, it has dual fuzz, has fuzz on each side, one on each side, and you can kind of blend and match the two, but the gated fuzz sound with the high all the way up, the EQ, sounded really good, and it was just that sawtooth type sound that I really, really dig. So let's hook up the Big Muff. I really do like this Big Muff too, but as far as a drive pedal, it didn't have a, let me switch this with the longer cable. It didn't have a blend, and even though it doesn't need one because the low end on it is pretty massive, I still wanted the blend just for the tones that I like to get. I like having that option. That's mostly a bass player thing, having a dry blend, and I'm sure that this wasn't catered towards bass players. Do I have power to everything? I need power for this one. All right, so yeah, again, I'm using the Strymon Zuma. It's off camera. I'll pull it up a little bit so you can see, but it's my little station over here with all the power. And yeah, so by the way, guys, I should say, even though I'm showcasing a lot of gear, I'm not being paid by anybody to do any of this. I've done demos and different things, and those are all different arrangements, but this live stream is just something I wanted to do for fun and just to try it out, and just to let you guys get a little bit of a choice as to what you want to hear, what you like and don't like. Sometimes in the demos I miss a setting that you guys wanted to hear, something specific. I get those comments a lot. So I just want to say, all this gear, a lot of it I bought, some of it I got sent for a demo. But if I have it, I'm using it, and I will recommend it or tell you like, hey, this pedal sucks or whatever. But generally, if the pedal sucks, I'll send it back. So just know that I'm not being paid to endorse any of this. This is just all gear that I use pretty much every day. So I think I'm good to unmute this. I'll unmute this and check the chat. Oh, we got a lot of stuff going on. All right, you're on. You're on. All right, I think that's it. All right, yeah, we'll hook up the meat box in a second. Sorry to bug you guys with this loop again. Let me loop this real quick because I need to take off my sweater, and I don't want to bore you guys with some silence. So I'll let this pedal play for a second. Oh, and by the way, actually, let me stop this for a second. Or turn this up. My kids made these. I had them make me some things. So at the beginning of the stream, you saw a stream starting soon. And so it was my daughter that made it. And I told her just to have a picture of me playing some bass and a thing that said stream starting soon. And she drew me playing the bass and all my other basses, and then her coming in with her crown and asking if she can have a snack. So I thought that was really cute. And then my son made me this, which I'll use right now, that says, and he came up with this, broken bass, dropped the bass way too hard, and I'll be right back. So I'll be right back. All right, yeah, it's getting hot in here. It's been super windy outside. The Walrus Audio Mako D1. Yeah, I talked to Philip at NAMM, and he said that they're really, really short on those, and they had to hire extra people to come in to keep up with the demand, so I don't have one yet. I'm not sure if I will get one. I have an email out to him right now, actually, just to see. We talked about a few pedals that we can work on, but I really like to get that one. He said it's really cool. I tried it a little bit at NAMM. It sounds really good, even though NAMM's really hard to, you know, get a judge of what's good and what's not. Actually, we'll keep that going. I think that's going. Do you have the Keeley synth? I have it somewhere. I think I lent it to somebody. I don't know, but it's not on hand today. No. I do have the demo of it, and then I did one for Keeley on their channel. So there's two separate demonstrations of it, as far as stuff that I've done with it. All right, yeah, I see a lot from Meatbox. So let's go ahead and do these drives, and then we'll switch over to the Meatbox. All right, let's stop the loop. And by the way, I'm not using the echoes for loop because it's up here at hand height, not at foot height. So I have my Ditto looper on the floor, which is, for me, this situation is a lot easier to use. Yeah. And the echoes has a little bit more of a learning curve. I haven't quite figured everything out on it, and I don't want to embarrass myself further. So everything should be good to go. I feel like I lost some gain, so we'll pump this up. Let me know if you guys hear it clipping or if it needs to be up or down or anything. I tested this all before and got it to where it wouldn't be clipping, but you never know. Stuff changes, and yeah. So the buzz version 2, version 1. Sorry, I had all these cranked. Bit of a difference, but you can adjust the EQs and different things on them. You can get kind of some of the same sounds, but they're a little different. So those are those. Let me go ahead and I don't know if this is going to be super loud or what. So you can hear that one's more of a fuzz. It's a lot more aggressive. And these ones are a little bit more of a drive. Crazy. I'll try this one out. Now I'll show you the settings because I do have this on my board quite a bit. Ooh, these need to be cleaned. I'll have it a low mix, so that's completely dry. This is with some of the fuzz, and you can see the fuzz level I'll have somewhat high. And then this is where you switch from the gated fuzz to a more, I want to say a big muff style, but I'm not sure, I don't remember off the top of my head, and I don't sure if they actually ever said what this side is, but it's more of a big muff style. So you can hear that versus, even though that has a lot more high end to it, but I can adjust these a little bit, give that some tone. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you can hear the mix helps a little bit keep that low end. So usually this all the way up, it gets really, really bright, but it's, I like it. And switch that back to the gated side, and this just sounds more synth-like, really, really aggressive and bitey. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try some of these together. Turn them all on. Hopefully this doesn't blow your ears out. And that's just the dry noise that you're hearing right there with all these pedals on. Yeah, that's nuts. Trying to look around. I have another drive. I have the B3K. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what this sounds like, but I can put it in if you guys want. I think that's all my drive pedals aside from the B3K. Let's see. Let's check chat. Let's see. Sounds like a synth fuzz. Yeah, I really like that one. Favorite reverb and delay pedal. You seem to use a lot of them. The favorites that I use, and I'll say this because I've used them for a while, and there's a lot of new ones, so don't take my opinion too harshly. Let me actually get them for you. I'm using the Strymon Blue Sky for reverb. The Big Sky is cool too. It has a lot more features that I won't use, but I like this because it has two presets, a favorite preset and then a what you see on the pedal, which is really awesome. Really, really good sounding reverb. And I kind of did this in my pedal board demo video, which you can check out, but I have one, you know, for full swells and volume swells and stuff like that. And I'll hook this up in a minute and show you. And then one for more lead lines. It's a little bit of a thinner reverb. And then for delay, I'm using the Eventide Rose. These are my two favorites right now, just because I've had a lot of time to sit with the Rose and kind of figure out a little bit of what it does. I don't use a whole lot of the features. Like, it has presets and it has custom assignment for this button and things like that, but I'm just using it for a basic modulated delay and tap tempo, and that's pretty much it. But that's not to say that there's not great reverbs. Like you can see, I started with the Echoes delay, which I've had since NAMM, and I haven't dove too much into it, but I'm able to dial in some really cool things. And then the Walrus Audio Slow, which this one is actually going to be given away, probably not today. I should have planned better, but I'm going to be giving this away soon. And this is like the only reverb that I've had, and I'll show you since it's hooked up, that does like a really good pad. A lot of reverbs, they'll be, you know, they want to be spring reverb, hall, whatever. This one really does a good dreamy type pad. Let me make sure I got everything set up to show you. Man, after all that fuzz, I feel like I have no volume now. So we can do full wet on that. And it has the, I think this is the Octave. Yeah, this is a really good just pad reverb all around. And it's got swell settings, it's got modulation settings. I tend to like reverbs and delays that have something else with them, like with the Echoes and the Rose. They both have a, hold on one second, let me put these away. They both have a modulated delay to them, which I like. So you can hear with this one, it has a flange on the delay. So when I'm doing volume swells and stuff, it's not just a standard, you know, volume swell. It actually will sound a little bit colored. Just adds a little bit more texture to it. So I think I can bring the depth of that down. So that's what a normal delay would sound like. Just a... then you add the depth of the flange. Let's go all the way just so you guys can hear the extremes. And then you strum your chord and bring in the volume. Just helps it add, you know, some texture to it. All right, let's see. Check the chat. So, where am I at? Sounds like chill. Yeah, it's when I get the pick going and the flange going, I can actually, you know what? That reminds me. Sorry, I keep moving this mic back and forth, back and forth. I can't see the monitor from where I'm sitting to do these pedals, so to read the chat, I have to adjust. But so yeah, with the depth up pretty good. I'll turn this down, and then I'll bring the speed down, whatever that control is. And it's pretty much just a flange pedal without the delay, so it can get a lot of tool sounds on there. Yeah, that's a really cool sound that I found on this pedal, and I'll probably use it that way. Let's see, let's put you in here. Let's see what that sounds like. So you can hear the flange kind of go slowly in the back, which I like more of a slow modulation too. Just gives it a little bit of subtle texture, but not to where someone listening can hear it necessarily, but just that it gives it the feeling of something's moving. So you don't necessarily hear it unless you're listening for it like we are, but in a mix or in a track, you wouldn't necessarily pay attention to that, whereas if I had it all the way up like this, that's pretty noticeable, and that's not really what you want. Maybe it is what you want. Probably have to be to the tempo as well. Yeah, I like that sound a lot. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Slap the bass. Nah, I can slap. Actually, funny story. I think Lee Scalar kind of had the same thing, that he doesn't do slap when he plays. He can, but he's not the best. So if he's hired to do some slap bass, he'll just have them call someone else. But really, I think I've been playing 17, 18 years. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where the music director or whoever I'm playing with says, hey, I want you to slap the bass. I want some slap bass. It just doesn't happen a whole lot with what I'm doing. Hey, you can see my hand. Hand reveal. Anybody want a hand reveal? That's my hand. But I like to slap bass a little bit, but it's just more of a fun thing. I never really do it for musical purposes as far as recording or anything. That make you happy? I slapped it. There you go. We'll have to get a slow soon. Yeah, they're really cool pedals. I'd have to say that even the Strymon can't do those kind of sounds. They're different, but yeah. I think I missed a lot of chat. This slow gives out an incredible... Yeah, it does. Can you demonstrate the buzz into a high, clean, low gain? Little bit. Okay, so yeah, a subtle buzz 2 setting. Yeah, I can do that. Let's see. Sorry, the chat kind of took off on me, and I'm missing a lot. I see it's already going off screen. All right, so let me see. We want low gain, low mix. So I'll just show you from the start. This is your dry sound. You just adjust your clean to kind of match. That's still a little low. That's a little high, so about there is fine. and then we'll adjust. You want low gain, so we'll turn the gain down. Actually, let's keep it up just so I can hear how much is in the mix for right now. And we'll turn the gain up. So that's a high gain, low mix. And you wanted a low gain, so we can do that. We'll turn the gain all the way down. We'll turn it up a little bit because it's almost where you can't hear it, but maybe that's what you want. So that's no gain at all, no drive, that's just a clean tone. Bump the gain up a little more just so it's more breakup, but then bring it lower in the mix. Maybe a little more than that. Yeah, that's actually pretty close to where I would have it normally anyways. Yeah. Let's put the pick down for a second. I don't want to convince anybody to buy anything, but the Echoes is a cool pedal. Yeah, that's a problem I've noticed too on a lot of effects reviews, is they don't do a lot of subtle settings like low gain or low mix for delays and stuff. And with bass, the more subtle, it really doesn't stand out in the mix as much. So you kind of got to be a little bit more, not so, I can't think of the word, geez. You need to be a little bit more aggressive with your sounds and not be as subtle, just because that's what's going to help stand out in the mix. But that being said, when you're playing at home or recording, those subtle things make a huge difference. So even though this pedal can do a lot more things than I'm showing with that low gain, just that little bit of low gain to me is worth it because it just sweetens up your tone a little bit. Is there any more combinations of this before I unhook this and go on to more reverbs and stuff? Or actually, I'm going to do the meat box, and I'll do the Hulk too, just because those are pretty similar. If you guys have any other suggestions of what's here before I start taking this apart and moving on to the next. Also, while I'm waiting, thanks for watching. This is the first time I've done a really purposeful live stream. I did one live for a contest giveaway, and that was just a short thing I did on my phone, but this took me probably all day yesterday to troubleshoot and get everything set. So I appreciate you guys watching. All right, so I don't see anything for these. We'll go ahead and mute the channel, and I'll find my meat box. It's way in the back. I gotta reach. All right, so I got the meat box. We'll keep actually, you know what? I think I'll hook this up in the beginning. I have another, I think this is my last power cable. Let me check. Yeah, I think this is the last one. Oh, it's all tangled up. This is my last one. 7, 8, 9. Okay, that makes sense. I'll put this in because this with the into some drive sounds really cool. So I won't leave you guys hanging on that. Let's see, are you on screen? Yeah, so this is all jumbled up, but yep, so that's on. Let's make sure this has some signal. Oh, we gotta plug you in. All right, let me unmute it and we will check it. All right. Oh, that thing That's the one thing I'd say the meat box that I don't like is this foot switch. You literally have to step on it with all your weight just to get it to work. So I can't remember what all these controls do. Oh, you hear that? I should say, if you guys are listening on your phone speakers or some baby speakers, you might want to turn it down or put in headphones, because for one, you're not going to be able to hear this, and two, it might drive your speaker a little too hard. So yeah, whoa is right. I should have warned you guys. So I believe this is the volume. Let me see. Nope, that's the octave. This is the volume. Yeah. I can't keep this above like 11, 12 o'clock, or it just gets too much. So this is my octave. So yeah, octave on the left, you can kind of play low. So I'm doing an open E. But then an octave on the right, which actually sounds more, it actually will play an octave down. So if I try to do an open E, oh, that actually sounds good. But this is my high E. This is my open E. So it really, there's a spot where it'll start to glitch right there on the C. So you want to kind of stay above, really above the D on the 10th fret. Oh, I feel that in my chest. Meat-tastic, jeez. Yeah, it's awesome. All right, we'll put this guy on it. Let's hear how that sounds. Yeah, that's like my favorite right there. Yeah, that's one of my favorite combos. I don't get to use that a whole lot. I've had band members complain about this thing because their in-ears would start distorting, even though it wasn't necessarily high gain. It's just the drivers couldn't handle it. So I don't take that out much, but I do use, where did it go? These are actually becoming cheaper, so I can, I recommend them because you can hear how massive it sounds. But for about the same price, you can get the Mantic Hulk, which I did a comparison video on these two. You can check that out. It's essentially the same thing. These two controls on here are these controls, and internally these two controls on this one are already cranked, which is where I always have them and most people do. But this one's in production. This one was discontinued, but now it's not. I don't know. They keep finding new ones and the price keeps going up and down. But if you just want a solid one and a solid company, I recommend the Mantic over the meat box, which, let me actually hook this up and you can hear. I mean, I did the whole video comparison of the two, like pretty in depth. So there's not a whole lot more I could show you here, but just for sake, if you're watching this stream and you didn't see that video, you can hear this one sounds generally the same. It does the same thing with the low end punch like that, but it's a lot more, it's not as aggressive. So, and this one has the octave lower setting sounds a lot, sounds a lot smoother, and I think it tracks a little better, but. So we'll turn that off for a second. So you can hear it's not as aggressive. The other one had a subtle bit of distortion to it. This one's a lot more subtle. You can hear that distortion very faintly. And it glitches in the same spot. So tracking's about the same, but this one just a little bit more subtle. And for what I'm doing, I like it better, but you can make it aggressive with this. So I don't know what the conceptual Hulk is. I haven't heard of that. But Mantic does have this, and they have the Density Hulk, which is a bigger one. And I believe that's the 4 controls that the Meatbox has. But this one was smaller, and the controls are inside. And I believe the price is about the same. I actually think this one's cheaper now that I think about it. The amp I'm using is this. Like, I don't have, it's just going direct into my interface. This is more of a preamp DI. It has a headphone jack. You can do some routing things with the dry out and different things. And it has a cab sim, which I'm not using, but it does color the sound anyways. So, but for band practices and stuff, if we're on stage or anywhere else that's a bigger place, I'll just go direct with my in-ear monitors, which I'm using 64 audio quad drivers. They're I believe it's the Adele series that they made. I mean, this is like probably 5 years ago or so. But if we're doing an in-home rehearsal or something, I have a Fender, I think it's the Rumble 25. It's just a $100 combo amp. And it's loud enough to keep up unless you're doing like metal or something with a super loud drummer. Just the in-home like acoustic setting, or even a couple electrics on a low volume setting. I've played with the drummer before, and he was using brushes, and it held up just fine. And the tone's really good, but it just sits under my desk, and I can bring it out when I need to. But other than that, I don't use amps anymore. I think 10, 15 years ago now, I was using an Eden combo, and it didn't really do much for me. It was just more amplification than sound. I still couldn't quite get the sound I wanted out of it. Yeah, you can do, a lot of people are starting to play direct now. That's why you'll see the DI market kind of come more into play lately. More specifically for bass players, but I've seen it for guitars too, where they have the like the Strymon, they have the cab sim pedal or amp sim pedal now. What's that company? DSM Noisemaker. They're making they're doing a collab that has a pretty small interface or a preamp DI that does amp stuff. But you'll see a lot of things come with cab sim now. And this one has loadable IRs you can change, to an Ampeg cab, which I think that's built in actually. But there's lots of other ones they have on their website you can download and pop in with the SD card. But it'll give you that amp sound, and you don't have to take the amp anywhere. And then front of house likes it because there's less stage noise, and they can control the volume of your bass. And yeah, it just ends up for a cleaner mix on stage, and which results in a better front of house mix. And then if you're doing anything live broadcast or recording, it'll clean those up as well, because you don't have amps bleeding into the drums. If everyone goes ampless, or even the guitarists do amps off stage in ISO boxes or somewhere else, then you'll get really the only stage noise being drums. And there's even products to control those too, which work. All right. All right, I'm ready to change this up. Let's see. Oh yeah. You guys awake? You guys can clip this for later and bump it and annoy your neighbors. All right, what do you guys want to see next? I think I have mostly just the delays and reverb stuff left, which I have quite a few hanging around. Yeah, I have had the Noble preamp. I believe, I don't know which videos specifically, but there's a few on my YouTube and quite a few on my Instagram that use just the Noble or a pedal or two into the Noble. And I do love that preamp. It's a DI. But I have to say the price tag, when you're talking about $1,000 DI, it made more sense for me side by side with an RNDI, the Rupert Neve DI. The transformer and the RNDI to me gave a better sound. It was pretty similar, but the sound to me, the RNDI won. And then the price difference, I think the RNDIs are around $200. I think I sold mine for $200. But not to say I sold it because I'm not using it, but it's because my interface at home has the RNDI transformers built in. It's the Steinberg UR-RT2, and so I don't need that at home. But yeah, between the two, I'd recommend the RNDI if you're not looking to do any tone shaping, because I never use the tone shaping on the Noble. But so let's mute this, and I'll start to get the rest of the stuff. So yeah, and then this this one's about half the price of the Noble, and it has a lot more options, as you can see. It still has the tube like the Noble. I wouldn't compare this to the Noble in any way. It's very different, but this one is more, if you want it to sound like an amp, then you'll want this one. But I kind of try to bring that down a little bit just so I still get some dry mix, so it's a lot more clarity to front of house. But if I am dual channeling from this, I'll make this one sound more like an amp, really driven, and then do a dry signal separately. So we'll keep these on there. Let me think. All right, let's change this whole thing up. I'm gonna clean this up. So what else can I talk about? Because this is gonna take me about 5 minutes to change out. Give me a topic. I like distortion or overdrive or anything with a compressor on bass, quieter than most. I completely agree for live use. I think the Noble magic is a little lost. Might be worth it for recording. Yeah, and that's where I had the RNDI and Noble side by side recording at home, and my producer friends would tell me, get the RNDI. And I told them, nah, man, I got this Noble. Like, I want to use this Noble. And yeah, it's just, once I actually heard it side by side in my own studio, can hear the clarity and stuff of it. And it's a weird description because it gives you clarity, but it also gives you warmth, which normally those two don't go together. They kind of fight each other. But it's a weird thing to say, but it warms up your sound without making it sound dull, if that makes any sense. It gives it a richness to it. So maybe we'll keep this guy hooked up. You guys see the mess I'm making? Goodness. Can take you away. Actually, probably should keep, let's hook up the B3K since that's over here. The DoD, oh, okay, that's a good comparison. The DoD to the OC2, they're both within reach, so I can do this really quick. Oh, maybe not really quick, but the DoD is more of a sub-synth, like that low end you were hearing. I already know what you guys are going to say when I hook these all up, that you're going to want them all at the same time. I don't know if I'm going to do that. It's going to, I've done it and it glitches. It doesn't sound good, but I'll show you guys because I know you're going to ask. All right, you got power. Let me get my OC2 1 second. All right, this is a old, I don't know, you guys can figure it out. It's a made in Japan OC2, and the knobs have just both fallen off eventually. These aren't on camera, I'm sorry. The DoD is more of a sub, rocks the subwoofers, the low end, and it can do an octave down, but it's more for that sort of sub-synth tone. The OC2 is more of an octave down. I'm going to use the same word, it's a synth sound, but it's just different. So rather than trying to describe how these are different, I'll just show you. I'm going to need a longer cable for this guy. This is feeling warm. Got that tube in there. Man, all this stuff is starting to look the same to me. And we'll plug you in. All right, do you have power that, oh, you know what? This is, this normally requires 12 volt, and I'm going to try it with 9 volt. It just won't have, yeah, that LED is super dim. Can you guys see that? I can never tell if this pedal's on or off. Right now it's on, right now it's off. So everything's off on there. Yeah, normally I run this on 12 volt. The 9 volt will cause it to glitch a little more when I play too hard, so it might glitch a little bit. See you later. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and listen to these two together. Let me get my signals back. That's dry. This is the OC2. That's the dry sound. We don't want that. just the octave sound. And then we can add the octave 2, which I never use, but I'll let you hear it. That goes 2 octaves down from the D that I'm playing. So it's, yeah, it's that really thick wobble. So you can hear it. It does the octave down, but it is not necessarily super deep. Like it hits those low notes, but it's not necessarily deep. Whereas the meat box is just, it gets way down there. I will say though, we'll do the Mantic while it's here. Nope, wrong way, the other way. I will say that the meat box, you can't do a lot of staccato and really quick playing. It doesn't quite sound as clean. Oh, I got both these two on. See, told you this is glitchy. So you can't really play super fast with it, but with the OC2, it tends to. It's a lot cleaner when you want to do stuff like that. But yeah, that's the difference between the two. This is just more of an octave down. And you can get a little funky too if you bring back the clean tone. Yeah, so that's the difference between the two. Hope that answered your question. All right, I don't see anything else in chat for right now, so I'm going to switch to the delays and reverbs. If you guys have something for me to talk about while I do this, that would be helpful. Woke up, actually yesterday it started becoming really windy here. Yeah, I got the submarine plugin, reminds me of the DoD Hulk. Who makes that plugin? I'd like to try that. That's one beat up OC2. Yeah, it's not relict. This is just from use. I actually bought it this way, just all beat up, and I didn't care because it was working, and I just wanted the older Japan version, which the Japan and made in Taiwan versions, I don't really think there's much of a difference, if any. I know people swear by the made in Japan ones, and I happen to have one, but that was more for, so I can say I have a made in Japan one, but there really wasn't a big tone difference that I could notice anyways, and tracking exactly the same. But I did, when I put 12 volt into that one, it tracks a lot better than any other OC2 I've had. I think that's my third or fourth one. All right, what should I hook up with these delays? I have the Eventide. I need to do some cleanup because this is getting out of control. All right, Meatbox, you're out. Get out of here. Strymon. Actually, I was told by a guitarist friend of mine to put reverb last, which I always thought of it the other way. Favorite bass brands? As far as like bass guitar or pedals or like a specific type. As far as basses go, I'm seriously all about Warwick's. Like I have this one. You know what, do you guys want to hear? I have the Star Bass with flats, if you guys want to hear that. But yeah, Warwick's just, there's nothing that, yeah, basses, there's nothing that beats the tone of a Warwick. I've tried endless amounts of jazz basses and sold every single one. But the first Warwick I got was the Warwick Corvette, and I bought it when I was like 19, and I sold my dirt bike, and I think it was $1,200 I got. I went down there and told them, hey, can I buy this for $1,200? Even though it was, I want to say it was $1,295 or something like that. And they said, sure. And so that bass is a beast. But ever since then, I just can't play a whole lot of other basses unless it's a specific thing like my T-40 or something with flats that needs a completely different type of sound. But as far as my tone, I can't get it from a jazz bass. I don't really like the P bass style. Just as far as just having the neck pickup, I need a bridge pickup because it gives you a little bit more clarity and more of a modern tone. But there's spots for every kind of sound. But just for me, it's all about the Warwick. They just have a low end, a low mid growl to them that no other bass has. And so in a mix or through pedals or whatever, it just has more oomph to it. An OC10, an amazing clone of the OC2. Yeah, I've seen that one. I'd love to do a whole bunch of OC2 clones because there's quite a few, but just so far nothing. Oh, it's +1 for that one. Yes, please do so. All right, so I'll switch. Let me hook these up, and I'll keep talking because I was talking and not working. Oh, so we've already hit an hour. All right, I'll probably go about an hour and a half then, because that hour kind of flew by a lot faster than I thought. Let me hook these up and then I'll put on the Star Bass. Yeah, I need something else to talk about now because I blew my topic on just chatting and not working. I do have, actually, now that I think about it, I have the Sire, the Marcus Miller V7, and it's a jazz bass. It's the 5-string jazz bass version. It's the white one you'll see on my videos. I do use that one occasionally, and I keep that one with Elixir strings so they stay nice and bright. And that one's more of my demo bass because it's really heavy, and unless I need that tone out somewhere, I won't necessarily take it out, unless it's a short thing too, because I can't carry it. I can't hold it for too long. It hurts my shoulder. Have you tried the Eventide H9 at all? Not on my own. Not on my own. I've seen it on friends' boards or whatever, and I'll try it through their guitar and things like that, but I haven't used my bass through an H9 at home. I'd like to. It's intriguing. I've kind of moved away from I need to keep working while I'm doing this. I've kind of moved away from the digital side of pedals where it needs a lot of programming and things off of the pedal. I've kind of been more of a set it and forget it type thing. As you can see, even with the Rose, it's been, I don't use the presets and a whole lot of things on it. All right, what else should I hook up? The gear list is in the description, you guys, for anyone that hasn't seen that already. I'll hook this guy up because he hasn't had a chance yet. But no, I'd like to use the H9. It has a lot of cool things, a lot of cool features. Just have not tried it personally. Where am I located? I'm in Southern California, and that's probably as specific as I want to be about it. But yeah, we woke up today, and I woke up in the middle of the night. It's been windy, but last night it was knocking things around the backyard, and I think my gate is gonna fall off pretty soon. But it was funny because yesterday, the trampoline, or the screen door got knocked off and it's all bent up and I needed to replace it. But last night, because it was so windy before I went to bed, I made sure to put the screen, because I don't have room in the trash can at the moment, I put it inside the trampoline that has the safety net around it for the kids. And so my wife woke up this morning and was confused as to how the backdoor screen ended up in the trampoline, which I thought was funny to think about if you didn't realize that someone had put it there. All right, power. Power to you. We're almost there. I'm gonna get back to playing some bass for a little bit. And this one. Is that you? Nope. All right, and I think everything is still, looks like everything has power. So we will dial in some stuff. Last call if you guys want anything hooked up before I unmute this. I have tried out the C4 synth. It's right here. I started to do some writing for a demo a long time ago, and doing a synth demo is a lot different than, say, an overdrive, just because you kind of have to play to the pedal, and then, you know, all your minor riffs and stuff aren't necessarily going to sound good on the synth because of tracking or just tone wise. And so I've been really kind of waiting for a song to kind of really give me inspiration on that pedal, but I do plan on having a demo of it relatively soon, hopefully. But it's great tracking. There's plenty of demos online you can see, even from NAMM. Nathan using it at NAMM, it has good tracking all around. It's better than the Future Impact if you're curious about that one. And off the top of my head, I can't think of other synth pedals to really compare it to, but it's the best one that I've had for sure. All right, I think I'm all good. I hear some noise coming through, and I don't know what that's from. So a little troubleshooting time. I think it could just be a cable touching something that's not grounded. Let's see. Okay, it's not from the bass. It's before this. All right, this is a teaching lesson. Okay, now I don't hear it. I barely hear it. All right, I'm gonna just make do with that. Let's test these. And I got no signal. Okay, so I didn't hook something up right here. That's going here, you're going here, you're going here, you're going here, going here. I should have signal. Should have signal, but I don't. So what's the deal? Something's not plugged in? Ah, right here. All right, let's turn you down. Sorry, Mr. Keeley. I messed it up. I didn't realize it was down there. Oh, yeah. And there's no noise. All right. Anyways, yeah, that was a teaching lesson. If you're getting noise, you kind of troubleshoot it by muting certain things along the way and just kind of figure if the noise is coming after that or before that, and you can kind of quickly diagnose it. So by turning this down, I know that if the noise is after this, it's somewhere in my sound card or from this cable on. But since the noise stopped, I knew it was before this, so I could check this stuff. And off camera, you guys can't see, but I got a volume pedal on the floor. I shut that off and the sound was still there, so I knew it wasn't my bass or anything before my bass. So yeah, quick lesson. Compare it to the Keeley synth. Okay, that's a good comparison. The Keeley synth was, it was, I don't know how it was designed. I read the videos, and forgive me, I don't remember off the top of my head, but the way that I like to describe the Keeley synth is that it has three different presets, but it has a warp, I think it is, or a mod switch on there, to where each preset has a different kind of sound on it. And each of those 6 total presets has its own particular tracking, has its own particular sound and reaction to certain things. And so with that pedal, each of those sounds really good. And you can adjust the mix, you can adjust, I can't remember off the top of my head. There's a couple things you can adjust, but it's not like a fully adjustable synth. So if you want something, you can just plug in and have one of those sounds like be your thing. That's a perfect pedal, because all those sounds sound good in their own different way, but some of them you have to play up higher because they won't do an open E on your bass. But some will, and so it's just one of those things. Each preset has its own particular attitude, but they all sound really good. The source audio, the C4 synth, is super customizable and super deep. If you're a synth nerd and you already understand synth, which I don't, and you kind of know those things. It has the PC and mobile editor and lots of different things that I've got one too. Check out my scratch patch on the comment library. Okay, I'll do that after. This message is held for review. Oh, I see. I have to approve this one. Sure. I don't see anything wrong with that one. So yeah, the C4 is, if you really want to get deep, it does have onboard presets that sound really good, just like the Keeley. But if you want to spend the extra money and have, I can't remember if the Keeley is stereo or not. I don't believe it is. This will have stereo, and you can have presets, and it gets really deep. So that's really the difference between the two. But as far as sound quality, I believe they're both pretty much the same. Just depends on what you're looking for. All right, so I got all these hooked up. We got about 10 minutes left, 15 minutes maybe. Yeah, and then I gotta go. So we will go out with some reverb and delay. Let's make sure I got tone, which I do. I don't think I've actually ever hooked these two delays up together, so this will be fun. Let's turn some dry tone on you. That sounds really quiet again. All right, let me know if that sounds fine. I think. All right, so that is with the B3K. And the echoes, which you can tell this is kind of like my favorite setting right here. I don't really stray too far from about this, maybe a little more repeats. All right, and then we will add this guy in. Oh, so he's on a long delay. I'm gonna have to time these two. Let's see, let's do one. Let's do one half of the other. Let's see if I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if that works. Nailed it. Okay, I just realized what your comment said in the preset library. So on the Source Audio app, when you run these pedals, there's community presets that you can save as well. So that's what he's saying, the patch in the community library. Okay, I'll check that out for sure. Sounds like Blade Runner. Huh. All right, let's kill this for a second so I can tune this guy. This is adjusting the depth of the modulations, like, or the intensity, I should say, because it gets really weird. That's just me holding a G. So yeah, I don't like it that intense, but right about here is good. You know, I did say I was going to switch to the Star Bass. Let me do that really quick. Let me do the looper thingy through these guys. Give me 1 second. Signal, where is it? There you go. All right, so I'll let you hear the Star Bass by itself. This is my Warwick Star Bass. Let's see if I can get it on camera. This is my white one that you'll see on videos and stuff. Hopefully I didn't knock anything over. This is a short scale 32, I believe, and it's strung with Fender flats, and yeah. Yeah, this is a thumpy bass. It doesn't come with a lot of high end, but it's my vintage sounding baby, and I love it, and it's beautiful. Sexy, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's I was really skeptical of the short scale before I got it, and when I got it, I'm like, oh, this bass, it's super comfortable, and it just thumps. And we'll put on the Big Sky, which I think this is about my settings. I'll turn these off so you can hear what the Big Sky sounds like by itself. So yeah, and then my preset. It's for more if I'm, the favorite switch is more for my lead line type stuff. Whereas the other one will be more for my big swells. I know you probably can't hear the difference, but with volume swells, it makes a big difference. I'm trying not to use my volume pedal a whole lot because it's scratchy. You can hear it a little bit when I start doing the slow right there. Slow swells, I gotta clean that out. All right, so let's kick all these on and hear what we can come up with. Also, another thing I can show you is with this, because this acts more like an amp, I can bump up the gain, which I might have to bring this down a little bit. This will drive the tube a lot harder. So when it gets to the top end of that swell, when it starts to get really full, it might break up a little more. Let's hear how that sounds. Yeah, so you can hear it does a little bit more of a breakup. Turn this off so you don't hear the drive from that. Can you overdub on the cue? Are you asking if this can be like functional as a looper, like overdub it? You can, just like the Ditto looper or whatever. I have messed with it a little bit, and you switch this to loop mode, and then I honestly don't remember the controls, and I don't want to start messing with it right now. But you can do, I want to say it's unlimited, but you can do a lot of overdubs with the looper on this. And I read in the manual, and I didn't try it myself, but you can adjust the effects for those individual loops, if I remember right. Don't hold me to that, but yeah, you can. This definitely has a looper function, and it will use the delay at the same time. Yeah, this combo is sounding really good. Let's make this a little more, give it some more depth and some more mix. Yeah, because the fade out on that sounds really nice. And then we'll go with this guy. Turn you off for a second. I'm trying to figure out what I want from this. Maybe we will go with some more intense modulation, but make it really slow. Or maybe not that much. All right, and then this one. Sounds good. So let's put those all together now. Modulation. I want to hear it. Again, that's just me hitting one single note. I'm just hitting a high D right now. And that's taking over. Now I'm just going to tap the fretboard. I have fun with this stuff. I'll have fun with this all day. All right, so let's turn you down a little bit. And let's get this guy. Caverns a good middle ground for the style of delays and reverbs you have if you don't have the money for two separate pedals? Yeah, again, I keep saying it, but I've demoed that one. I have a demo of that one, and it's a really good dual reverb and delay. And the plus side of that one is that you can switch the reverb and delay on and off separately. But that is actually a really good starter pedal. There's also the Avalanche Run, which is a little more expensive. But that one you can't separate the reverb and delay except with presets. It has a couple presets you can store. But I used the Avalanche Run for a long time. I used the Caverns for a long time too, but it's one of those things you get on a hunt for a certain type of sound, and when the pedal doesn't quite have it, or even if it does have a good sound, you're still looking for there might be something better. So eventually I just started investing more and more money into more and more expensive pedals, and that's how I ended up with the Strymon and the Eventide and yeah, a lot of these more expensive pedals. It doesn't start off, but the Caverns is an excellent, good first choice. There's also the Earthquaker, is it Dispatch Master? It's just a single foot switch pedal, but that has both. I haven't played it, but I've heard lots of clips and it sounds really good. So yeah, that's about it. If there's any other questions you guys have, I got about another minute or so and I'm gonna wrap it up, but thank you guys for coming along. Yeah, you can follow along the channel, subscribe, do the like thing. I'm not super hyped about doing a lot of self-promotion, but if you guys enjoy it, I encourage you to stick around and do all the things. It helps the algorithm and all that. If you really liked this live stream, just let me know, because if you have any tips to make it better, if you want to see me do it again, things that I can do on stream, because as much as I can plan and do things, I don't know what you guys want to watch. So I thank you guys for watching. Let's jam a little bit while I read some more comments. The difference between those pedals, the pedals on my board and the Avalanche Run. A little bit of reverb after synth pedal sounds great. Yeah, a little bit of reverb after synth pedal sounds great. I think I heard myself reverb into these pickups. Hello? Nope, maybe I was hearing things. The Avalanche Run and the Caverns both have 2 foot switches. But the Caverns the foot switches are for reverb and for delay. The Avalanche Run, one is on and off, and the other one is for tap tempo. I think it's programmable to help you change presets, but you can't switch the reverb and delay on and off unless you have one preset that's all reverb and one preset that's all delay. I would say it's a drawback to the Avalanche Run, but for me, I liked it because I used both of those together. At the time, the sound that I was using, this really big, kind of like what you're seeing right now with all this delay and reverb, it obviously wouldn't get that rich and intense, but it was a one button click to do all that at once. So that's why I use the Avalanche Run. But the Caverns, that's the plus side of the Caverns, is that you get both of those separately. So if you want to use reverb on one part, delay on another part, and delay together on another part, you have those options with foot switches, and you don't have to bend down and do anything. All right, so that's it. I'm going to click on this looper, and I'll find my stream over. Oh, I am recording. All right, so let me play a live loop for you guys then, and then we'll be on our way. Thank you guys for watching. Let me reset this, and let's see if I can do this.